Sideline Squib. It's a long time coming. Steve, Andrew, what say you? This is the sideline, yeah. Funny, it's my time then. Put me in right now then. Squib, squib, boy. This is the sideline, Funny, it's my time then. Yeah. Put me in right now then. Squib, squib, boy. This is the squib, info stick up to your ribs. Chips be coming with that dip. Go ahead, put it to your lips. My oh my, that is delish. Victory gon' taste like this. Y'all bought that big ol' boat, but these boys built you a bridge. Sit down and take notes. If you want you a trophy.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sideline Squib. I'm your host, Steve Silvestri, back with co-host Andrew Lehigh. And we have a special guest coming up for you tonight in a way to win some cash, some hard-earned cash. You just got to tune in and listen out, see what we have going on. So first off, Andrew, let's get you in here. How are you making out from Kansas City?
Hey, doing good. I had a pretty easy day, pretty nice weather out. We were out at the park, did all that good stuff with the fam, and now it's just about grinding out one of these podcasts, answering some listener questions, talking to Mark, and then it'll be full focus on DFS for tomorrow.
No, I'm loving it. DFS Docket, they had their episode out. Guys, if you haven't listened to that yet, swing over to Sideline Squib, anywhere you listen to your podcast, and find the DFS Docket as well. They're putting out content, looking for 3 weeks in the green or in the cash for the DFS Docket. And like you mentioned, I was going to jump into some player news, but you touched on Mark. So joining us tonight, guys, Mark Celino from Statement Games, the CEO, is joining us tonight. Mark, how are you?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me, guys. How's everyone doing?
Good. We're excited. You know, Statement Games is one of those platforms that everyone can play. You know, there's so many platforms out there that cost this amount of money or have this much entry fees, and you guys are doing it the right way. You guys are giving back to the community at a free cost, you know, to enter. So, I mean, I know I'm excited about it. Andrew's excited about it. Tell the listeners a little bit about Statement Games and kind of how you came about, you know, creating such an awesome platform.
Yeah, sure. No problem. I just got to kind of make the comment here. I know that we were talking a little bit about it before the show started here, but I definitely have to just reiterate it. 100% the coolest intro song to any type of sports podcast that's out there right now. I'm jealous.
I love it.
This is a great song. So, you know, once again, thanks for having me. For those who are kind of like, you know, coming across myself and Statement Games for the first time here, I'm Mark Celino. I'm the CEO and founder of www.statementgames.com. And just for the people who are out there, if you're not necessarily a web person and you're more of an app person, there are apps that complement Statement Games. So you actually can find this in the Apple or Google Play Store. Statement Games Fantasy Sports, we're pretty, you know, simple and easy to access. But in all, Statement Games, and I can't really stress this enough here, it's just a game. We've created a sports gaming platform that's kind of got like a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports. What we do is we create tournaments around individual sporting events. So, for example, coming up on Monday night here, you got the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The people who want to play this game, we're going to present them with a list of props, or hence the company name statements, that are specific to the Buffalo Bills Kansas City Chiefs game here. So Patrick Mahomes over or under 290 yards passing. Buffalo defense over or under 1.5 sacks. There's probably anywhere between, I'd say, you know, 50 to 60 different statements that we're going to present you with. It's broken down into various different various different, you know, questions broken down from the quarterback position, wide receiver, running back, defense, so on and so forth. It's your job, if you want to play this game here, to take a look at the list, and you're going to make 10 picks or you know, make 10 statements. And as you make your picks, you're going to rank your statements in order of confidence from 10 through 1. So as that game plays out, if your number 10 pick becomes correct, then you get 10 points. If 9 through 1 are incorrect, well, now you just have a total of 10 points. You're going to play in a league of anywhere between 8 to 12 people. The person with the most points from correct picks at the end of that specific sporting event wins. This is a free-to-play game. You're competing for what we call Statement Games coins or platform credits. It's your job through competition and different features within Statement Games here to accumulate as many of these coins as you possibly can. And when you're ready, you want to exchange those coins for a cash gift card of your choice. So there's a whole reward system that's powered by Statement Games. Merchants like Under Armour, Nike, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Amazon, Google. When you're ready, you exchange those coins for a cash gift card of your choice. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more of a better understanding of who we are and what we're doing within the industry.
I have a question.
Sure.
Where are you limited on where you can play this game from? Because we have a couple
State restrictions.
we'll say sponsors. Yeah, as far as like that have restrictions on geographical restrictions based on their laws for that state. Are you guys subject to any of that since you're not giving away real money, or are you guys?
From a technology perspective, as long as you have a device that has the ability to connect to the internet, or as long as you have access to any kind of like the app stores, there are no kind of like restrictions.
Gotcha.
From a gaming perspective, because I am a free-to-play game here, I don't require the funding of an account, you to provide me with your social security number or provide any type of credit card information here. I comply and follow the same rules as say Candy Crush. It's only my game is a little bit more specific to sports. So any type of gaming app that's on the market today, I pretty much comply with the same rules, laws, and regulations of those guys. So this is not a cash kind of like base game here. So within Statement Games, you do have the ability to create private tournaments, or we're basically tournaments where we're just kind of playing with people you invite, family members, friends, associates, so on and so forth here. I see a lot of activity like that taking place in the back end of my platform. I'm assuming that people are doing so because they are playing for money, but that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, and you're gonna find that anywhere. You can find that at
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
No, that's awesome. Giving that platform to the people out there, to everybody. It's not geographically condensed like some of these gambling sites that may not have sports gambling online or whatnot. You still get the feeling and the rush and the just the overall fun. It's going to change the way you watch sports. It's everyone likes to. I don't want to say everyone. A lot of people like to gamble. Everyone likes to watch sports for the most part.
Everyone likes to win. So
Yeah,
gambling, no, but
people like to
down
compete.
that run.
People, they love to compete, but like you just kind of like alluded to here, you still get the same thrill of that rush and kind of like competing, whether it's for $5 or $500. There's not that big of a difference. So, quick little story. This concept or this game, I've been playing it within my family for about 25 years. My dad kind of like came up with the concept. So, full disclosure. I live and grew up on Long Island, New York, in the Celino household. My dad was a huge sports fan.
You're East Coast? Who would have guessed?
I guess I set myself up for that one, huh?
No, I lived in Portland, Maine, South Portland, Maine for a little while. And I mean, it's funny because you said Dunkin' Donuts, and no one says Dunkin' Donuts except for people on the East Coast. Nobody. So it was already a giveaway.
Stop. So basically, my dad taught my younger brother and I. We did a couple of things and a couple of things only. You rooted for the New York Giants, the New York Yankees, the New York Knicks, and the New York Rangers, and that was it. I mean, that was literally it. And that kind of upbringing, it kind of backfired on my dad a little bit, because every single year I used to make a trip up from the Long Island area to Boston. I had an aunt and uncle who lived in the Boston area, and that's where I just went for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving Day, my dad really wants to do nothing but watch Thanksgiving Day football, right? And my younger brother and I, we don't care. We didn't understand. Dad, why do you want to watch? It's not a Giant game. Well, why do we care about watching this game? So really, in an effort to get me and my brother interested in other things besides the Knicks, the Rangers, the Giants, and the Yankees, he created this game, and we've been playing it pretty much, every single Thanksgiving Day. It started out with him pulling family members into a corner of a room. He had a piece of paper, and he'd start asking you, Lions questions. Barry Sanders over under 100 yards rushing. Herman Moore over under 7.5 receptions. I remember the first time that we actually played. Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback of the Bears, who were playing the Lions. All right, Jim Harbaugh over under 250 yards passing. So every single family member used to throw in a buck. And now at the age of 12, 13 years old here, I'm locked into a 12 o'clock Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game here, like it's the Super Bowl, because I had a chance to win like 13 or 14 bucks. So my aunt used to call this the football bingo game, and that concept is kind of like been transitioned into a gaming platform that's currently what you're looking at right now.
This is awesome. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Like I wish I had that in my family. I wish there was somebody that was like as committed to sports as I am. Like, yeah, that would have been.
You guys are putting on a pretty good show here, so I'd say that you guys are fairly committed.
Yeah. My son's 18 months, so I'm not gonna get him to start jumping in on that. He's offering up Cheez-Its and Ritz crackers instead of $1 bills.
Yeah. And I just gave my daughter her first NFL actual trading cards today, because she was always watching me with all my cards and stuff like that.
Nice.
And now she's walking around with my business cards, stacking them up. And I'm like, you know what? We were laying there reading books, and I'm like, you know what? Give me a second. I'll be right back. So I went downstairs and got her some I don't know what the 1992 wild card cards or something.
That's how we learned. It was capturing cards, and it's funny that you kind of mention that, because my mom got like a huge kick out of this game here, because we'd play this game on Thanksgiving Day, and now we've been cooped up in this house up in Boston for a couple of days now. She'd take us Black Friday shopping on Friday. So whenever went to the stores and things like that here, my brother and I we push for football jerseys, posters, football cards, because we had such a good time here. So at in a very early age here, this game that I've been playing, it definitely influenced what we started getting interested in from an apparel perspective or from a collectibles perspective. And now this shows you a little bit of how old I am here. But of course this is pre-internet here, but this is the things that we really got locked into from a sporting perspective here, and it really had the stem or the roots off of basically this very simple game that my dad came up with.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet game. I mean, I like it because I risk a lot of money in DFS and Dynasty and redraft and all that other stuff. So, and I used to be pretty heavy into the handicapping side of things too. So, finding a game that also fills that rush without the monetary commitment is something that I think is a cool new avenue that our listeners and people across the country can kind of feed a little bit of their want without all the risk. So it's with some reward too. So
with some rewards on it. That's the best part about it.
It's not just a free game. There's actual stuff at the end of it. If you know what you're doing, or you get some things to go your way, get a little luck to bounce your way, you can wind up with some cool prizes, and it sounds like there might be something else for listeners, for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a little bit about this, prior to the show here. I am coming to the table. I want to sweeten up the pot a little bit here. This is something that I am just going to be talking about on this show. So I'm not necessarily promoting this on the Statement Games platform, which, by the way, if you wanted to, continue checking us out and following us here, it's simply at Statement Games on any major social media platform. Statement Games is on one word. At Statement Games. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. But basically, anybody who's listening to this show now, or maybe checking out the recording tomorrow, if you're willing to try Statement Games, and again, it's www.statementgames.com, and specifically play the Kansas City Chiefs versus Buffalo Bills game. If you go 10 for 10 with your picks, in addition to any coins that you win that can be exchanged for rewards, I'm personally going to come to the table with $250.
Woo!
So if you go 10 for 10,
yeah, baby.
If you go 10 for 10 with your Game 1 Monday Night Football picks, it's weird saying that here. There's two games on Monday night.
Hey,
it's
and it's
the
at
age that
4
we live in.
o'clock our time, by the way. 4 o'clock. That's the worst time ever. By
5
the way,
o'clock East Coast time. It's just strange. But if you go 10 for 10 with your picks, I'm personally going to cut you a check for $250. Quick little story here. Think of it as a free lottery ticket, or a free
scratcher.
Free little scratch off or something like that here. And hey, look, 10 for 10, it's hard, right? The odds are kind of my favor. I'm just kind of try and give a little incentive for people to check it out here. And I was telling you guys the story. There was a couple of weeks ago, I was on a different podcast, and we were promoting the upcoming, at the time, it was the Game 1 New York Yankees Tampa Bay Rays, game here. I made the same kind of offer. So basically $250 for somebody who went 10 for 10 with their picks. Well, not only did one person hit that offer for that game, there were 3 different people who went 10 for 10 with their picks for that game here, and I pretty much had to pay out like $750. So I just wanted to stress and make the point that this is something that does happen. It's not necessarily impossible. It doesn't happen frequently, but it does happen. And like I said here, there's no risk on your end. This is a free-to-play game. Check it out. I'm definitely an entrepreneur and a startup here. I'm trying to get my product out into the marketplace here, and this is one way on how I actually do it. But more important than that, any feedback, comments, suggestions that any of your guys who are checking this out for the first time can offer Statement Games is very greatly appreciated. So you can find us on social media. I can also be contacted directly via email. The email address is fairly simple. It's marketing@statementgames.com. So any feedback, comments, advice, suggestions on what you like or dislike about our product is very much encouraged and greatly appreciated.
Awesome.
Yeah. And guys, there will be 2 things. One, I want to add on to it is join us. I'm going to be doing it. I know Andy's going to be doing it.
You already know my tab sales right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be, that's research. That'll be research right after the show before DFS starts. And guys, on top of that, you know what it is for us on Sideline Squib. It is October. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if I do take down the 10 for 10, that $250 will go directly to our breast cancer awareness fund. So, guys, come join us. Try to take it down. Win yourself some cash. And of course, if I get lucky enough to catch all 10, it will be going right to our rolling fund. We got a couple more days left for breast cancer awareness. So awesome stuff all the way around from both Mark and Statement Games. And you guys have a chance to win yourself some free money and have fun doing it at the same time. So awesomeness. One thing I like to think about Statement Games as well, and it's when you're playing for real money, it's tough sometimes to make that hard decision that's going to put you over the top. Like if you're, let's say it's daily fantasy sports, and you need to play a guy in a GPP and you need to get that guy that it's make or break, it's boom or bust. You can do that on Statement Games because of the risk-free, entry fee. But if that hits, man, you just stacked yourself up with some nice coins that you can then turn into, monetary prizes or awards afterwards, which is awesome. That's one thing I like about it. Big time.
Yeah, give yourself a little, you're willing to take a little bit more risk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it's like whenever you play the quarter or like the nickel or whatever on. I haven't really done it for NFL, but when I used to do it for like baseball and basketball, I was playing every day. I didn't want to play $20 a day every day, and but I want to still have that itch. You're like, okay, well, it's a quarter. Like I'll take a shot at whoever, and just because it doesn't really matter that much, So same situation where you're kind of playing for free and still ultimately have an opportunity at winning some prizes and winning some money. So appreciate you, Mark. It was awesome. I hope that some of our listeners take you up on your offer. You're going to have 2 entries for sure.
Yeah,
for sure on our side of things. So we're excited to have you. And anytime you want to come back on here and talk some football, we're more than happy to bring you on, and we'll do our end as far as promoting you and promoting your page and try to get some more people interested in winning some cool prizes, whether that be Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, depends on their allegiance, So.
Hey, NFL Shop, Under Armour, Nike, Target. There's probably about like 85 different merchants, in there. Domino's, Chili's, Applebee's. I mean, name kind of like a major retailer. There's literally, I know this is probably one of the most overused phrases that any market can say, which is there's something for everybody. But there's literally, in this case here, there's something for everybody in the reward section.
Well, we appreciate it.
So anything else said? Anything else you want to add to it, or one more time where they can find Statement Games?
Well, hey, Statement Game, www.statementgames.com, Google Play, App Store, Statement Games Fantasy Sports, pretty easy to access. I know that you guys got things that you're doing here, but hopefully tomorrow I can actually get the freaking Giants to win a game here. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, hold your breath. Hold your breath.
Hey, I think I got a pretty good shot. Washington. So. I don't know. Different story for a different show.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. Count your chips for the hatch. Hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Mark, and you have a good rest of your night, man.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. All right, bye.
You too.
Hey guys, I wanted to take a second and talk about our sponsor, Thrive Fantasy, the up-and-coming fantasy sports app where you can take your prop bets into the DFS style. It's a pretty sweet little thing, so make sure you guys head over to thrivefantasy.com or check out their app. Use promo code SQUIB, that's SQUIB, when you sign up today, and you'll receive an instant $20 match on your first deposit of $20 or more. You can download the Thrive Fantasy app at the App Store or on the Play Store by visiting their website at www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up to prop up today.
All right, guys, so you heard it there first. The free platform, Statement Games, awesome idea, awesome platform. It gets that itch, but doesn't cost you money. And then you just heard our sponsor, Thrive Fantasy app as well, that if you want to throw a little bit of coin down and win yourself some money, it's there as well. Prop bets are a big thing of the present.
They're really taking over, man.
They are all around us. Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away. Like, he just came out and said $250.
Yeah, nice.
That's $250 cash out of his pocket if anyone does it. So make sure to go out there. I don't know if he mentioned it or not, but make sure it is, if you are going to join it on Twitter, please DM either myself or Andrew, and we will pass it along, or DM Statement Games at Statement Games and let him know that you listen to Sideline Squib and that you want a piece of the action on the Buffalo Bills Kansas City Chiefs game. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do is say you want a piece of the action. It doesn't matter if you go 0 for 10 or 10 for 10. You have that chance to win $250, which is awesome.
Yeah, he should have done that too, where if you win 10 or if you lose 10.
I'd lose 10.
I could lose 10 pretty easily. But yeah, man, that's awesome. It's a cool platform, cool game. We like to, every week we can come in here and talk about start this guy, sit that guy. When we're going to do that to some extent, but we still want to provide some sort of resources and some sort of value to our listeners, and finding a new platform that you may have never heard of. You're not going to see a commercial for it on TV like you see a DraftKings commercial every 5 seconds talking about how you can play for free. That's something we can try to provide our listeners, and hopefully they can find some value and maybe win some money. Maybe they can turn their donation or their money into a donation into breast cancer awareness or wherever they want to find their charity.
Yeah, exactly.
So, certainly an option as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, they're not going to be out and about. You're not going to see them on commercials on TV or on the radios yet, which is great. It's a great outlet for everything else. So awesome stuff. And I just love the Homer, like how it started with his family.
Dude, that's a great story. A great story. Yeah, I wish I had that kind of game. That's an awesome story. Like, I wish that was something that we did as growing up. It was me and my uncle. We were really the only ones who were into football, and really it was just he knows football, but he knows like who everyone else knows. And I got much more deeper than that. Growing up, I got way into it, and my mom is a big Chiefs fan. That's kind of who that's who I watched games with on Sundays. But I definitely didn't have any cool games like that, and I did not have the crazy uncle who was like, "All right, guys," he's like taking side bets at the kids' table. All right, listen, guys, how quickly we run out of the mashed potatoes. We definitely didn't have any of those kind of people at my Thanksgivings. But it's gonna be a weird holiday season, by the way, coming up. So
yeah.
Because
I know he mentioned something about Mark mentioned about his family would always go Black Friday shopping. That's huge for me. Like, ever since I was, I don't know, let's say 14, 15 years old, like, Black Friday shopping was the thing to do. It started off when we were little. I guess up until about 18 years old,
Right.
we would always do Thanksgiving dinner all of the friends, like, the guys, the girls, they would all come to somebody's house. It was super lame, but we'd all make cookies and play games and do that kind of shit. And then we'd wake up at 3:00 in the morning and go shopping. Like, it was awesome. And then you hit like that 18, 19, and then it was everyone meets up, you drink for a little bit, you take a nap, then you go shopping. Then as you got older, it was like, okay, we're going to go shopping, hit the happy hours in between, and then go shop. I love that. Now it starts at 2:00 Thursday day. It's getting outrageous. And, we're on a tangent talking about Black Friday. I don't even know. It just Walmart's already coming out saying that they're doing 3 different weekends worth of Black Fridays or something.
What?
They're like, well, November 7th is going to be just for games and toys. And November, whatever the following Saturday is going to be for clothes and underwear. And, it's just, yeah. So I'm not looking forward to this year either. I think it's all going to be Cyber Monday and online stuff, and stuff you order is going to take 3 months to get here. It's going to be right at Christmas anyway, but enough.
Anyways.
Yeah. Get where are you at? We need the chat to let us know we're going down a rabbit hole.
Reality. Back to fantasy football. Back to actual fantasy football. We're in reality.
All right, so back to fantasy football. Let's get some late player news here.
Yeah, hit him with it. If you haven't heard yet, Dak Prescott broke his ankle.
Yeah,
that happened.
We do have a lot of people off the injury report, which is kind of what I want to talk about a little bit. Just touch on it as far as Dak obviously gone. You have Julio Jones coming back to the field. You have Drew Lock, thank goodness, coming back to the field. We need that yeah. Who else is coming? AJ Green should be back on the field. Looks like Christian McCaffrey maybe one more week. So there's a lot of guys coming back to the field, which is nice for the football world and fantasy football. And before we jump into our quarter of the year, or 4 weeks in or 5 weeks in award ceremony session here, why don't you tell them a little bit about what's going on with our Dynasty Owner team and how happy we are to get Drew Lock back?
Yeah, we're getting crushed on Dynasty Owner. That's what's happening, and not by our opponents per se, although that's happening too. We can't, basically our lineup looks like an injury report. Like Dak Prescott, Drew Lock, Nick Chubb. We have Ezekiel Elliott, so that's good. We still got him rolling out. We have Cortland Sutton, so he's on the IR as well. We're not looking good. We've drafted ourselves a rebuild, so that's good. We're officially in rebuild mode, and not really that. It's just rebuild to healthy. And who knows where Dak ends up? Maybe we won't be so tied to the Dallas Cowboys because we do have CeeDee Lamb as well. So if Dak ends up not signing with the Cowboys, it sounds like he's going to anyways. Sounds like, that's what everyone would expect them to say. They all the Joneses of the world are coming out and saying that they're going to support Dak and this doesn't affect his contract negotiations. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. We believe you. It's like when the Broncos, they listed Melvin Gordon as out with an illness this week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's an illness. All right. Yeah. It's not his DUI that he got, which by the way is ridiculous to have as a professional athlete, speaking from someone who has one. So, it's one of those things where our roster is gonna be dead for a while. We're gonna have to just lick our wounds, and hopefully we have enough people to roster. So to start each week, but
and the good thing with us is we like this kind of stuff. Obviously we like winning, but there's nothing we can do about players getting hurt. There really isn't anything to do. So now it just changes our mindset. We get into our Dynasty Owner and we do it again, but. There are going to be some owners out there who aren't into fantasy football as much as we are in Dynasty Owner that are going to just abandon their team. So if you want to get into the Dynasty Owner that we have talked about so much every single episode, you can take over an orphan, and these orphans are much more inclined than what you would see in your normal Dynasty or fantasy football league because there's so many teams. We can still go out and get Carson Wentz if we really wanted to. We would have to dump the salary of, say, Dak, which isn't smart, but we could go out, so there's players on there just due to their contracts and their salaries. Yeah. So an orphan is a little bit more, shine in the eye than some orphans may be. But if you're looking for that, you can always just head over to dynastyowner.com/squib, and there is a section for orphans there that'll be able to hook you up as well. So, yeah, so let's jump into what our whole episode was about. We're 30 minutes in. We got some great news from Mark, an awesome promo for $250 cash. And now we're going to jump into our quarter of, I don't know, what did you call? What are we calling them?
These are the Dundee Awards.
The Dundee Award. There you go.
These are the Office. This is the Office spinoff. These are the Dundee Awards. They mean absolutely nothing. They're just handed out by us because we wanted to give out some awards. We're about a quarter of the way through the year. We were supposed to do this last week. We kind of wanted to do a little something different last week, so we moved it to this week because we run this show and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So it's the Dundy Awards, and we're really just it's gonna be offensively centric. We're gonna stick to the fantasy relevant players, but yeah, who would you, if the season were to end today, which it could, by the way, if it were to end today, who would you vote for? If you had a vote, if you were a writer or you were a media person, who would you vote for at the skill position awards, the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then I threw in an extra one because it is the Dundy Awards. We can do whatever we want, and I threw in the Fantasy Player of the Year. So basically whoever didn't win the other three awards, who would you play? So who would you vote for?
Yeah, and I think they could or will. I know for me at least, they are going to be different. You know, there's a little bit difference between, you know, MVP game script and, you know, fantasy player and kind of what they do within their position. So
sure.
Let's start off at let's just start off at Rookie of the Year. We'll start off Rookie of the Year, start at the bottom.
Sure. I was going to do the easy one, but we can do Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll start there. Easy enough for me.
So who are you looking at for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I'm going to leave him to you. I'm going to leave him for you because I want to take the underdog technically, but I feel conflicted about swapping sides. So I'll roll with Burrow.
Okay.
I think Burrow will end up winning it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is obviously in the conversation. He's had it kind of cooled off, and now Le'Veon Bell is coming in. Oh, by the way, player news.
Player news. What? Forgot about that.
It's not that big of a deal. As a Chiefs fan, I love that Le'Veon Bell is here with the Chiefs, but from a fantasy perspective, it's obviously going to cap CEH a bit, which is good for him in long term. I don't know why people are freaking out in Dynasty about Le'Veon Bell's 1-year deal that he's not going to be with the Chiefs next year. Sorry. Yeah. It's a move that Super Bowl considering teams make. Sorry, Patriots have been doing it for a decade. The Chiefs are doing it now.
It's a move that he wants because he can steal
he gets a
championship ring.
You know what I mean? He gets a ring, yeah. He can pad stats. It's not like he's going to a team that's like built on the defensive side of the football. He's going to Andy Reid, who's going to get him engaged and moving along. And this week is the last week of a CEH show. I think we'll see a lot of usage with him, but you know, as Le'Veon Bell gets phased in per se, and as the season grows on, it's actually good for CEH, especially in Dynasty. He was coming from LSU where he's not Jonathan Taylor. He wasn't getting the rock 30 times a game. So expecting him to last a 16-game season in NFL where things are a lot tougher, the grind is a lot tougher, and expecting him to be a workhorse. They weren't even drafting him to be that way. Damian Williams' opt-out came after the draft. So that wasn't the plan in year one. It's ended up being the plan, and I think Le'Veon Bell makes too much sense. So moving on. My Offensive Rookie of the Year vote would go to Joe Burrow because he's playing behind the worst offensive line maybe in the history of the NFL, and he's still throwing amazing passes. He's still lighting up the scoreboard. They're not winning very many games, but that doesn't really matter as a rookie. And I think I know who you're going to go with your Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. It was kind of put on a tee for me a little bit, because he came in and through through the first 3 games that he's played, you know, he has 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's playing well. The team isn't winning though. You know, the team isn't winning, but
they never do though.
I know, like that for having such a good defense. Ever since Derwin James went down, it's like that defense just didn't know what they're doing. You know, they picked up Kenneth Murray, who I thought was one of the, if not the best. Let's cool the breaks. You know, Isaiah Simmons was the best linebacker, but he's kind of a dual threat there. And Joey Bosa, and everything's going on, and there's not a good defense, and they're not winning games.
And Baltimore got one too, by the way.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen's
Patrick Queen is killing it.
Basically.
But you know what I mean? what I see in Herbert is much like what we saw when he was coming out of Oregon. He's composed in the pocket, but has the mobility to sort of when the pocket collapses, he can get out. I have seen a few dumb sacks. Like there were some sacks where they were in field goal range, and he tried to alleviate or tried to escape the pressure and cost himself into like that 10, 11-yard sack that then took them out of field goal range instead of just, launching it over a receiver's head into the crowd or the water boy or whatever the heck is on the sidelines now, the camera crew. So that needs to, but that overall, that's not going to really go into the overall rookie of the year right now. I do want to throw some honorable mentions out there though. Your guy, CeeDee Lamb, is looking great right now and will continue to grow. So awesome hit on that one. But a little underdog. What do you think about James Robinson? Like
James Robinson, yeah,
came out of nowhere, kind of. Obviously hey, he got the start. He got the starting gig for whatever, and he's making do of it. Which is awesome. So
he would never have a chance to win that. Free agent, plays in Jacksonville, but he's a darling, man. He's getting used like crazy, and that's all.
I could throw a little honorable mention out there.
Justin Jefferson would be another honorable mention. Justin Jefferson's crushing, and it's about to crush the Atlanta Falcons are about to get steamrolled. By the way, like this is gonna be the bloodbath through the air and on the ground. So, Justin Jefferson. It should be in any starting lineup that you have Justin Jefferson. Just so you know. I like those honorable mentions. Though. I like. Robinson quite a bit. Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's like when you're watching the Heisman Award ceremonies and you see Manti Te'o down there with his floral necklace on.
Manti Te'o and his girlfriend.
Yep, just sitting right next to each other.
Yeah, not pictured. John Cena and Manti Te'o's girlfriend. Anyways, off the rails again. All right, so who do you have as your? This is gonna be a very quarterback-centric picks, I guess.
I think it is. Yeah.
All right, guys. So who is your offensive player of the year? So offensive second of the MVP, basically.
Yeah. So yeah. That's exactly kind of how I say it. We've talked before. Like I don't understand how these can be two different people, but it seems to always be. So I'm going to go with offensive player of the year. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson.
He's been pretty good.
He's just playing his ass off yet again. He's in his 8th or 9th season now. Yeah. He's on pace right now after 5 weeks. Was it 5 weeks or 4 weeks maybe? I forget when I pulled these stats, but 64 touchdowns and 4 interceptions with a 137 passer rating. Like, what? That's absolutely insane. The dude deserves some sort of award. I don't know what it's going to be, but he deserves something. He's 5-0 right now, 72% completion percentage, 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So obviously, I think I pulled these stats last week because if he's at 3 interceptions now, there's no way he's on pace for 4. So, but yeah, he's still absolutely crushing it. And, if he doesn't win, which is tough because we all know who should win the MVP for the next 10 years. I like Russell Wilson to at least win something. He's playing his ass off, and I think he deserves something this year as the offensive player of the year.
Well, yeah, I have him as my MVP, so I'll spoil it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I like Russell Wilson quite a bit. I think it's one of those. He's playing lights out first off, so that obviously is step one. But step two is he hasn't ever got an MVP vote, let alone win one. So wow. I think it's one of those make up for lost time type of situations. If it's even close coming the end of the year, which it is technically still right now because it's so early, who really knows at the end of the day. But if it were to end right this second, it's still pretty close, especially when it comes to Vegas odds. I think the votes will tend to sway towards Russ. Plays in a big enough market. He's obviously got the monkey on his back where he's never won one. That kind of sort of situation. And his team is undefeated, which for some reason quarterback wins matter. So it's like pitcher wins. I don't understand why that's a thing. But yeah, he's crushing, dude. 16 touchdowns, 9.4 yards per attempt, which is first, which is ridiculous. If you really think about it, he's throwing for a first down essentially every time he's throwing, not per completion, per attempt. So that's ridiculous. He's throwing a Megatron. I mean, DK Metcalf. So it makes sense on why his numbers are getting up there. DK Metcalf is balling as well. what a freak of an athlete he's turned into being. I mean, a route runner with
so many people passed on him.
I'm voicing this because I've already put it on Twitter. I've already put it in words. I missed on DK Metcalf. I apologize. You can record this, but I was completely wrong on DK Metcalf. I will never credit 3-cone viability when it comes to evaluating a player ever again in my life. So I apologize to DK and his family, and please don't hurt me.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, it's kind of weird. I have him Offensive Player of the Year. You have him an MVP. So he's playing lights out. So hopefully he continues to go on and just because you said Megatron and all this, what about Chase Claypool's Mapletron tag?
Listen, I'm not buying that yet. Like, good. If I miss on him too, I've missed on him, man. I'm sorry, but I can't buy it. I'm not gonna do it. Missing Deontay Johnson, Juju's been a non-existent. I just think I shouldn't discredit that quickly, but like, I just don't buy it, dude. He had 4 years at Notre Dame, did absolutely nothing until his senior year. Couldn't outproduce some scrubs at Notre Dame. And now he's tearing it up. It just, maybe it is real, but
is he tearing it up? He's playing against the Philadelphia Eagles defense.
Yeah, and he's turned like 10 targets into 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous turnaround.
And I do like Chase Claypool a little bit more than I like the guy I'm about to mention, but very similar path of Miles Boykin. So let's see what's going to happen going down the way, because Miles Boykin really hasn't produced yet. He did have that one game early in his career, and so we'll see. One's playing with Lamar, one's playing with Big Ben. You would think it would be,
you would.
So we'll see. But no, that leads me to my MVP, which, just because I'm going to stay away from Mahomes in a segment like this, I am going to go with the Bills Mafia, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's not winning MVP, but I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Just to stay away. If I had Russell Wilson as my Offensive Player of the Year, and I have Herbert as Offensive Rookie, might as well stay with quarterback, because that seems to be the going trend anyway. So I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. 4-0 start. And then a bad loss last week to Tennessee. Like, he was on the right path, He
looked okay outside of one throw.
Yeah. And the one interception was deflected off his own receiver, hit him in the chest, or hands, arms, whatever it was. Was it first play of the game?
Yeah.
Second play of the game, first drive. But before that, he was 4-0 to start with 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He added 3 more rushing touchdowns on top of that. And the biggest thing for me, the biggest eye-popping stat for me for Josh Allen is right now he sits at 69% completion percentage. Nice. His career, even back in Wyoming, his career high is like 51%.
Yeah.
Not to mention.
He's definitely, it's what everybody wants from Lamar, essentially.
Yeah. He's making smarter plays. He's making high percentage throws. If it's not there, he's taking the 2 or 3 yards and running out of bounds, or taking the 2 or 3 yards and falling forward. He's not taking hits, which I love to see out of a quarterback like that. Obviously the goal line carries, he's going to take those. But he's starting to feel confident a little bit more. And as much as Stephon Diggs really isn't that big name receiver, or that big name, like, they didn't go out and pick up AJ Green, just the name value. They didn't do that. They got Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is second in the league in receiving yards right now. Second. Bro. You know what I mean? Diggs. Second. A very quiet second in the league behind DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Which I was going to go down another rabbit hole, but I'll stay away from that one.
Excuse me. Stephon Diggs has been a blessing for Josh Allen. Not that I don't think Josh Allen would have made improvements. I think there's been some really good reports and actually stories, full-on articles that have hit the interwebs about Josh Allen's work ethic and how much he's put into wanting to improve every offseason, and it's showing like every single year. So he's had 2 off seasons to improve, and he's done both times. So, but the Stephon Diggs addition has really proved to be instrumental. And if they win, man, if they beat the Chiefs this week, they turn around, they kind of they get back on a winning track. He could be right there in that same conversation for the same reasons that Russ Wilson is, in regards to winning, taking care of the football, what you can do with your legs, those kind of things.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious to see what they do against the Chiefs, on Monday night, because the Chiefs don't have the best defense, but they're going to put up 30 points.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an offensive game where it's like you can't make mistakes. If you make one mistake, if you throw that interception to Matthew or something, or you have that bad fumble for whatever reason, you're not going to catch up. And I'm kind of looking forward to see, it's not one of those games where he's going up against, the Colts defense, and he needs to put drives together, and he needs to be very methodical with his throws and how he drives down the field and uses the game clock and then score points on top of that. This game, I think, and this is my opinion, I think it's going to be, hey, can I keep up with the MVP? Can I keep up with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid and all that they can? Because our defense is good. The Bills' defense is good. They're one of the better defenses in the league.
They're going to be exposed, though, on the positions that they can't be exposed at. Like the Chiefs' strengths really are about to really highlight the weaknesses of the Bills' defense. They can't guard a tight end to save their life. We have the best one. And then you have cornerbacks named Josh Norman, which is really cool for jersey sales. But my goodness, I don't know how he didn't retire at halftime, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So he's coming back out, and he gets to face Tyreek Hill or McCall Hardman, who are going to torch him. And then they have Tre'Davious White, and he may not play. He's limited, but if he plays, they still have more than that, more than enough options in the passing game to exploit them. Yeah, there's some holes in the game of the Bills, and I think the Chiefs will do more than enough to take care of it. But in the event that they don't, in the event that the Bills are able to pace the Chiefs and they're able to bounce back, then he can definitely put himself back in the conversation of MVP. For my offensive player of the year, I'm going to stick a quarterback as well. The guy who gets absolutely no love this year, and he is playing like it, Aaron Rodgers, balling right now. I haven't seen him this light out, this focused, this laser focused, maybe ever, certainly in far too long, and he's doing it with no one at receiver. Devontae Adams is obviously the big name, but he's missed 2 games. He'll be back this week. That is a heck of a matchup with the Bucks and the Packers. Really, really excited to see how that game goes. I'm definitely going to put money on the Rodgers Packers team. I think they're more well-rounded. I think they're a better defense, and Vita Vea is also missing for the Buccaneers, so that's going to be kind of a Aaron Jones show, I assume. But I think Aaron Rodgers is certainly in the conversation to win MVP, and if he ends up finishing second, I think they'll ultimately give him the offensive rookie or offensive player of the year. I mean, he ranks 3rd in fantasy points per dropback at 0.71. He has 139 attempts without interception, which is more than 100 more attempts than second place, which happens to be Drew Lock. I'm pretty sure Mahomes was right there too, but Mahomes threw a pick last week. So I like this stat. This is my favorite one. Carson Wentz has 9 interceptions on 195 attempts. Aaron Rodgers has 9 interceptions since week 3 of 2017.
Awesome.
Over 1,100 attempts, and Aaron Rodgers has 9 interceptions, has as many interceptions as Carson Wentz. So anytime I get a chance to dog it,
that's a good find there.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one.
So this is where I turn away from the quarterback for fantasy player of the year. I'm going to take a step back, and for good reason, I think. I'm going to go with Alvin Kumar as the fantasy player of the year. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we doubled up. It's all right.
Hey, that's good. Then we can go on it together and round this one out as the last one since we're hitting that 50-minute mark. But for me, of course, quarterbacks are going to always be that, the high scorer in the league or every common scoring league. Quarterbacks are going to score the most points. But right now, Alvin Kamara is putting up, he's putting fantasy teams on his back and just running with it. He was he's 5th overall right now in overall fantasy points and only 5 points behind Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. We know Dak's not getting any more points. He's above quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray in total points scored this season through the first 5 weeks, which is absolutely insane. He was like the 5th or 6th running back off the board in startups this year with CMC and Saquon Barkley being down. That obviously helps a little bit. Cook being hurt right now, but he's the only one that can really push him outside of Zeke. Nick Chubb's down, and then you got the young guys and Josh Jacobs and Miles Sanders who are putting up yardage, but they're just not putting up the receptions and stuff for fantasy points. I absolutely love Alvin Kumar. He's going above and beyond this year as a fantasy player. Through the first 5 weeks, now mind you, he's still splitting carries with Latavius Murray. He's still splitting carries with him. He has 675 total yards, 7 touchdowns, and 38 receptions. Like, killing it. I'm so glad he's healthy.
He leads all running backs in receptions at 38. I'm pretty sure I saw something I was looking for just a second ago. It might have been going into last week, but if you took out all of his rushing stats, he would still be a wide receiver 1 or the wide receiver somewhere in that range. Oh,
I can see that.
He would be a wide receiver 1 without any rushing statistics. Drew Brees has fallen off a cliff, and Alvin Kamara has really made sure that they have stayed relevant while Michael Thomas is nursing an injury while also nursing his ego. So,
AJ or Antonio Brown number 2.
Yeah, literally.
I hope not.
Man. It's so stereotypical, man. It's just they put themselves in this situation where we're like, of course he's a prima donna. Like, why wouldn't he be? Like, he's force-fed targets, little slant boy, and he's leads the league year after year in receptions and all this other stuff. And of course it gets to his head, of course. But then these professional cornerbacks that face him every day know what gets under his skin.
Yep.
And his own teammates are driving him up a wall and talking shit, and he's lashing out at his own teammates. Like, that tells you all you need to know about his maturity.
Eli Apple, or I don't even know if Eli Apple's in New Orleans anymore.
Yeah, and he was arguing with Devontae Parker in the offseason about like how good he is and stuff. Like, shut up. Like, what are you even concerning yourself with these other people? Like, just go out, do your business, handle it, and go about your day. But wide receivers, man, they just they got to be the star. They got to be the guy.
So from the chat, Zeke, what are your thoughts on Zeke? Do you think he's gonna, with Dak out now, do you think he's gonna be coming back stronger? I guess you could say. Obviously he's still pulling his weight, not finding the end zone as much this year yet, but he's in a lot of downs. He's still carrying the load, still that 3-down back, a breather every now and then for Tony Pollard. I believe that he's still going to be that guy. I don't think the game plan, and I hate to say it, but come on. Who is the coach down there now? Came over from Green Bay.
Years
ago. Mike McCarthy.
Sorry.
Man, I'm drawing a blank on names big time, coaching-wise. And the quarterback, the lefty, offensive coordinator right now.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah. So
he and Andy Dalton played in the Fiesta Bowl together.
The Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah, back in a decade ago, whatever it was for Andy. Andy Dalton's still playing quarterback, and Kellen Moore is calling plays. So that tells you how that. Kellen Moore, sorry. Is still calling plays. So.
But I don't think their game plan is going to change, which isn't good, as a coaching staff, to go from Dak to Andy Dalton and not change your game plan.
Yeah, but I really don't. Everywhere. Like, why would you stop throwing the ball? I mean, Andy Dalton is perfectly serviceable. I don't think they're going to have the rushing floor, if you call that, with Andy Dalton. But Andy Dalton is more than capable. It depends on how quickly he picked up the system with Kellen. And I don't think that Andy Dalton was dumb. So I'm pretty sure he was doing just fine as far as the system goes. And, hey, let me throw it to Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, or, I'll just hand it off to Ezekiel Elliott. Like, they're loaded, man. To answer the question, storming in, I think he's already done really well to start the year. I can't imagine much more production from him. But I do think, the rushing touchdowns will go up because you won't have Dak Prescott taking 3 of them in one game from the goal line. So that'll help. But outside of that, I would imagine they're going to lean on him, but they're still going to throw the ball, early and often. That defense, Andy Dalton didn't come in and isn't going to come in and fix the defense. The defense still sucks. So they're going to be in catch-up mode quite often. I can't imagine Zeke being able to get 35 carries and just milk the clock a lot.
So what else do you got for Alvin Kamara? Anything extra to add on to that?
No, I think you crushed it, man. You were on it. Alvin Kamara would be the fantasy player of the year. One thing I did note, and I was going to pull up for all you Miles Sanders fans out there. I know that there's a few of you, and I just wanted to kind of go over his rushing production compared to Alvin Kamara. I wanted to pull that up. If you got anything going, I'll get this up here real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm just definitely looking forward to week 5. It's been such a weird, or week 6, excuse me. Is it week 6 already? Holy hell!
Yes.
It's just been such a weird season. With all these canceled games and rescheduled games and postpones and whatever else has happened on. We touched on it last episode. It's a commissioner's nightmare. So I want to say anyone who's out there and you're not commissioning a league and you're just in a league and you're having fun or you're listening to us, don't jump down the commissioner's back. That's what. Give your suggestions, but don't give your comments to something like that. To none of us, anyone who commissions, none of us know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. All we can do is do our best to try to organize it all and keep everyone in the league happy enough to the point where I like that the majority of the platforms used now have some sort of like polling or something like that, because then you can leave it to the league, put your suggestions out there, let the commissioner know, hey, this is an idea, let him make the decision or her and say, okay, here's an idea that came into me from anonymous X. I'm going to throw this out to the league. What do you guys think?
Yep.
As long as you don't take it personally when everyone's like, yeah, F that sucked,
That's a stupid idea.
Then you're good. But don't jump down the commissioner's back for something that he has no control over. Every commissioner out there right now is trying hard to figure out what the heck's going on and still keep a very active league running to continue into the next years going forward.
Yep. Preach it. As far as Alvin Kamara goes, Alvin Kamara has 61 rushing attempts for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns. He has more receiving yards than he has rushing yards, by the way. So 61 rushing yards, or 61 attempts, 281 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. He has 38 receptions, 395 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Miles Sanders in 4 games has 62 attempts for 316 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 catches for 97 yards, and 0 touchdowns. The difference is the receiving game and how he's being used in the receiving game, which is ridiculous if you look at the roster in Philadelphia and they were throwing the ball to Fulgham for touchdowns, and they're not using Miles Sanders out of the backfield. Is ridiculous. So if the receiving usage starts to get more in line with Alvin Kamara, we might have ourselves a conversation here with Miles Sanders and Alvin Kamara. But as it stands right now, the usage right now from Kamara has just been – you can't beat it. So he's being targeted. He's getting the rushing workload. Touchdowns are coming. It's all full steam ahead for Alvin Kamara. As far as the commissioner situation goes, you gotta do the best we can do week in, week out. We never know. I wake up every morning and I'm like, which team is it? Which team got the positives? So you kind of got to bear with us on that as far as commission goes. I don't commission that many. I don't want to commission any more. And I'm perfectly fine sitting on the sidelines and tossing my ideas out there. I don't want to take on any more commission. I don't want to question any other leagues. So. But yeah, I'll leave it to you there, Steve. Whatever you got.
Awesome. No, that does it for us, or at least for me. Awesome idea. Awesome platform for Mark over at the Statement Games. I want to thank him again for joining us. And guys, don't forget, today is Saturday. You have till Monday afternoon, 5 p.m., the Bills and the Chiefs game to either DM Andrew or myself, or just go directly to the source and DM Mark at Statement Games on Twitter. Let him know that you listen to Sideline Squib, you want a piece of the action, and go 10 for 10 and win yourself $250 cash. What an awesome idea. Thank you to him. He's coming out of his pocket for that. So one of our listeners, multiple ones of our listeners, go out there. Let's team up. Let's go get it. multiple people can win. He didn't say one person. Multiple people
he
can
said
win this
3
prize.
won against him the other day. He said 3 of them won. So, I mean, I'm not trying to empty his pocketbooks, but we can get a couple of our listeners in there in the green. That's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal.
Go get it, guys. 10 for 10. Get yourself $250. Take our advice. Have fun with it. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. You can reach out to me at Sideline Squib and Andrew at Do or Die Nasty, like always. And we'll see you guys next week on the Sideline Squib.
Wash your hands and vote.
Sideline Squib. It's a long time coming. Steve, Andrew, what say you? This is the sideline, yeah. Funny, it's my time then. Put me in right now then. Squib, 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 boy. This is the sideline, Funny, it's my time then. Yeah. Put me in right now then. Squib, 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 boy. This is the squib, info stick up to your ribs. Chips be coming with that dip. Go ahead, put it to your lips. My oh my, that is delish. Victory gon' taste like this. Y'all bought that big ol' boat.